we are looking into the daily current affairs analysis in a very short and precise manner, which greatly helpful for your exam preparation. So first issue of today is addressing sickle cell anemia. For this comes under GS3 health, and for prelims, sickle cell disease is a group of disorders that affects hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is nothing but which is a molecule present in the RBC. The actual job of the hemoglobin is to deliver the oxygen to cells throughout the body. So hemoglobin is very important. So people with this sickle cell disease have a atypical hemoglobin molecule called hemoglobin S. So that is called people who are affected with sickle cell anemia. And with what will happen if the people have hemoglobin S, that actually dysfunction the RBC into a sickle or crescent shape. Okay, so the signs and symptoms usually it will begin in very early period. It includes a low number of RBC, repeated infections. When the low number of RBC, there will be a anemic and period episodes of pain will happen. So the signs and symptoms of sickle cell disease was caused by the sickling of the RBCs. So when RBC starts to sickle, they break down prematurely, which will lead to anemia, and this causes a shortness of breath, fatigue, and delayed growth. A particularly serious complication of sickle cell disease is a high BP in the blood vessels that supply the lungs. So that will lead to heart failure. So pulmonary hypertension, which also occurs in about 10% of adults who is having this sickle cell diseases. So the treatment, actually this is a lifelong illness. So blood and bone marrow transplant is currently the only cure for sickle cell diseases. But there are also other treatments that reduce symptoms and prolong the life. Okay. Next, measuring an electronics magnetic moment with extreme accuracy. So this comes under GS3 Science and Tech. For prelims, the reason measurement is the most precise test so far in the theory, and it is most comforted and baffled physicist. So the standard model of particle physics, and therein lies the rub. Standard models most precise prediction is of the electron's magnetic moment. Physically, it describes how an electron is to align itself in when it comes to the magnetic field. So in new study, researchers in the US, they suspended a single electron in a magnetic field at an ultra cold temperature inside a vacuum chamber. So they measured currents induced in the nearby electrodes. They achieve a precise result by closely controlling the electric fields. So by stabilizing the magnetic field and adjusting the physical property of the hardware. Okay. So what is electromagnetic moment? So in atomic physics, the electronic magnetic moment actually specifically the electromagnetic dipole moment, which means it is the magnetic moment of the electron resulting from its intrinsic properties when it's spin and when it's charged. Okay. So standard model is a theory that describes the properties of all subatomic particles and how they are affected by 3 or 4 fundamental forces like strong nuclear force, weak nuclear force, electromagnetic force. So selfie with the daughter, so that to focus and give importance on sex workers in G20 countries. This comes under GS1 vulnerable sections. In India, we have a certain law that related to sex worker like immoral trafficking Prevention Act. Legislation governing sex work in India is the Immoral Traffic Prevention Act, Suppression of Immoral Trafficking Women and Children Act, and also many amendments have been made, and the committee is Justice Verma committee, and the committee recommended that there should be a distinction between women who are trafficked for commercial sexual exploitation and adult concerning women who are in a sex workers of their own. Okay, Buddhadev Karmashaka was a state of West Bengal case. In that, the Supreme Court says that Sex worker have the right to dignity. Okay, thank you.